Wandering through the great plains of life, things move fast, sometimes a blur. Don't you let this bumpy road separate you from the herd. And when you think the day is done, the sun is getting low, we're all looking for something rare, the great white buffalo. The Great White Buffalo Podcast with Ben Mayfield. It's like I'm like 8 years old and I'm sitting in bed and my dad's telling me this story about how Japanese used to dunk Koreans in boiling water. Like they dunk us in there and pull us out and we'd be all and our skin's falling off, and then my dad goes, "Good night." It's the funniest story in the world. Oh man,
he's hilarious.
Are you recording right now?
Yep. And welcome to another episode of the Great White Buffalo Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Mayfield. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the Three Musketeers in here. You know, I would say the most powerful trio I've ever thought about. Think about a more powerful trio. Could you think of one right now? Maybe Michael, Pippin, and Robin, maybe. That's a powerful trio.
Robin from Batman?
No, Scottie Pippen.
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. Oh, did I say Robin?
You said Robin.
Rodman.
Yeah.
With his hair. I mean, that's a powerful trio.
That's a good trio.
I'm thinking Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Oh.
That's a pretty powerful trio.
Yeah.
Rice Krispie.
Stone Cold. Ric Flair. The Rock. Okay.
Were they ever in a scene together?
No.
They weren't in together.
No.
But could you imagine?
Dude, Stone Cold Steve Austin was legit like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. That him and Sting of like if I had to do WCW, WWE. That Stone Cold was so awesome.
Stone Cold was fantastic. I also loved Goldberg.
Dude, who doesn't love the Undertaker?
Yeah. Undertaker's fantastic.
We had a kid
when I
lived
did the
in
music.
Kansas. There was a kid. We were all like second or third grade, and he got way into wrestling. And he used to tell us that his uncle was the Undertaker. Now we're not sure if that's true or not.
He probably made that up,
but we're pretty sure he made it up. You never know.
You never know.
I'm pretty sure he's from like Texas or something.
But
the guy who's
all I know is that this kid would dress up like all black. He was super pale.
at school.
Do you wear the hat
And,
thing too, like the Undertaker hat?
Whenever,
school?
yeah, and whenever
Whoa.
whenever we'd play on the playground, he'd always try to do like things. That was so fun.
Did he have a chubby guy walking
even-
around with an urn
No,
with him?
yeah, no, but even as little kids, we were like, all right, bro, you can like chill.
Yeah.
His
just a
parents
little
drop him off in
bit.
in
He was
a
good
hearse.
guy. Like he was funny, but he was way into it.
We had a kid in my high school that was so into AC/DC that he would dress up like Angus Young in that schoolboy outfit.
Oh, really?
Every Friday. That was like his thing. He'd show up. He have like the little schoolboy. There were like the shorts and the knee socks.
Yeah.
And the little hat every Friday.
See, I did the same
crazy.
thing, but
Yeah.
for Ned Schneebly.
From
School of Rock.
That was the outfit.
Yeah, the
From
School of Rock.
outfit.
Yeah.
That was
That's how I know that outfit.
Schneebly. Schneebley.
Schneebly. He's right on the board and it's like, Mr.
You know what? Just call him
Mr.
Mr. S.
S.
Yeah. That's a great movie.
Dude, this is Jake Riggs, everybody.
What's up, buddy?
Love to have him back. And then, y'all know Naders. What's up, Naders?
How you doing?
Sorry, I didn't mean to not introduce y'all.
Well, we got into a thing there.
But the School of Rock, we were watching a summer camp, and this girl goes, I can like quote like every line, which is like, okay, like, people say that, you know,
Did you
all the
challenge
time. No. I was like, I just took it as a word. Like, okay. And we go to watch the movie, and we're all watching it. It's like all the staff. And she proceeds to quote every single line to a point where we're like, okay, we got it. You know it. You accomplished
If
it.
that irritates you, we should probably never watch Napoleon Dynamite together. Because I can do that movie.
The thing is, I'm one of those people, and maybe it depends on who's
It's
doing
impressive.
it. I like, because like, I don't mind if like you say different quotes throughout a movie, but if you're trying to watch a movie and someone's just talking the whole time,
it drives me crazy.
It's like,
I would never actually do that.
okay, I get it.
with a movie.
Like every once in a while there's an iconic line and you say something that, you know, whatever. But for some reason, if someone just keeps doing it,
hitting every line.
it's like, if it's a certain scene or a couple scenes, cool, whatever.
You know who does that?
But-
My father. And I've talked about this on the podcast. I love you,
What's
Dad.
he do with Full Metal Jacket?
Oh, well, yeah.
I
Well,
love the smell of napalm in the morning. Is that your dad's favorite quote?
it is. And then the movie came out.
Oh.
There's something out there.
That's what he used to say on the battlefield. Oh man,
2-time Bronze Star recipient. But over Christmas holidays, he's like, "Hey, I want to go see a movie," and I was like, "Well, there's no movies. I don't know that look good." He's like, "What about this movie called Plane?" It has like Gerard Butler in it. So I said, "Okay."
I don't know if I heard about that one.
I didn't either.
It looks good.
I'm so aloof
It's
about what's
very
happening
good.
in entertainment movie business right now because I don't go to the theater much anymore.
Plane is the only movie that I saw. Like, I saw previews for when I went to go see. There was just some movie we went and saw. There was some movie.
Yeah,
that
we
came
went
out
somewhere,
recently
yeah.
we went
Was
to
it
go see.
Jackass when we
No,
went
it wasn't when we
saw?
saw that. It was after. It was like the past 6 months.
Yeah,
And
I have no clue that was a movie.
Well, it just
I didn't really know either.
recently came out,
Okay.
and I saw the previews for it, and I was like, that actually looks pretty cool.
Well,
Okay.
So we're in the theater, and I will say there's a couple things. I don't want to ruin the movie for y'all.
Yeah, because I'd be interested in seeing it.
It is worth seeing, but there was 2 tropes that I thought were going to happen, and then it didn't.
Ooh.
Which I was like, oh,
It's a twist.
very.
Those kind of twists are
Yeah,
better.
I was impressed by that. But not the entire time, but there were several times where my dad would like lean over and go, "Hey man, you see that plane over there? I drove one of those planes and like
my
in the
gosh.
and it's like, yeah, cool. Like it's probably a very impressive story. But I'm like, Dad,
Now-
like we're in the middle of the movie.
Now's not the time to tell it.
Yeah, and there's people around us.
Did you end up like at the end of the row? By the end of the movie, you just kept scooting down.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
"Hey Ben, look at that truck. I had a truck just like that."
He's like, well, and there's like
Okay,
there's
Dad.
like guns and stuff in it. He's like, that's an M4 class 1-2 with a scope, and I'm like, I okay, yeah. Now that I know that, makes this scene a lot better. Let's rewind it 30 seconds.
Dude.
Sometimes when you're knowledgeable about things, you cannot help it. Because my wife would attest, unfortunately, because I have read Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite things in the world. And because I've read those books several times, there's a lot I know about that world that isn't a part of the movies. And so when something happens in the movie and I'm like, in the book, it actually happens this way. And she's like, okay, thanks.
Cool.
Shush.
Oh man. Well, today I want to mention today is February 2nd, which is Groundhog Day.
Yep.
And I was thinking about this. I got up this morning, worked out with Chris Davis. Shout out to Chris.
Do we know the
6 more weeks of
the
winter.
result? Punxsutawney Phil
Well,
saw his shadow.
The one in Georgia said spring's coming in.
Yeah.
The one
Yeah,
in
but
New
the
York said,
official.
Punxsutawney Phil is official.
Yeah.
"Oh, that's the official." Okay.
That's the official one. They made a
Oh,
movie
okay.
about him
Yeah.
with Bill
He's
Murray.
he's
It's
official.
official.
Is it the same groundhog?
Oh, I don't know how long groundhogs live.
That is an
I'm
interesting
pretty
question.
sure that one's
I
not.
bet you he's dead.
They're like
I don't
they
know.
live for 100
Sometimes I'm
years.
astounded by how long some things can live.
Sea
I
turtles.
just feel like
turtles live for a
I
long
just
time.
feel like maybe groundhogs in captivity. I just feel like
Yeah. If this isn't bugging,
Nah.
I'll look it up while y'all are talking.
okay, perfect.
I think they probably died pretty soon. But I was thinking about this: if you were caught like today, like today's day that you just lived, because we're filming this at nighttime, what would you do to make this day more perfect? Now that you've relived it, and you had to keep reliving like Groundhog Day, like you wake up every day and it's February 2nd. What would you do differently?
My wife and I got in a fight earlier about something I said, so I probably wouldn't say that.
Boom.
Make it better that way.
I'd go get a blizzard.
It was such a good day where the only thing that could make it
I
possibly
mean, seriously,
better.
like
blizzard.
getting a blizzard every day, couldn't be that upset with it.
Would you try every flavor like each day when you like
Oh, if
restart?
I knew it was, yeah, I'd just keep doing it. I'd just try different things.
I'm
might
pretty
go back.
standard on my Blizzard. Like
I'm
when I
very-
have a Blizzard, that's the one I want every time.
I'm standard as well, but if it was like Groundhog Day where it's like
didn't-
every day's gonna be
No,
something different, it's like
hang on.
okay,
Hang on.
I'm pretty sure tomorrow's gonna be the same, so I'll just order a different flavor.
Would your calories reset?
That's what I'm thinking.
Are you
Yeah,
gonna get,
yeah.
Are you gonna get fatter?
That's the way I took it. If calories don't reset, then I'm not gonna go get a blizzard.
I guess that's
every day, but-
in the
It
movie,
resets, it
in the movie. There's
resets.
that scene where Bill Murray's just like stuffing his face with cake and donuts and stuff.
yeah.
So I guess that means if we're taking that as how it would work, then I guess that means
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
don't age, you shouldn't
That's
gain
true.
weight.
Yeah, then
or
the
whatever.
calories-
you basically
should
become
reset.
immortal in that.
Yeah.
in
But for that
scenario.
one day,
So groundhogs on average live 4 to 5 years.
yeah,
So
that groundhog is dead.
That groundhog is
That
past dead.
yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, it's definitely dead.
I thought it'd be longer than that. That's really short.
Yeah,
is
4 to
very
5.
short.
Well, you know what? I bet they're similar to hamsters. I mean, I feel like
guess.
and hamsters are only like 2 years, because they're kind of rodent-ish.
They're rodents, that's for sure.
Because groundhogs, is groundhog the same thing as a gopher? Is that a dumb
I want to
question?
say they're probably different species, but
They're probably in the family.
They're very similar.
gotta be
They both burrow. And
Related to beavers as well, probably.
Yeah, I would think so. Beavers aren't marsupials, are they? That's not. I don't think that's a thing.
The only marsupial that I know is a koala bear.
Well, kangaroos are marsupial.
Kangaroos.
Yeah.
Wallabies.
I don't know. I don't know enough.
Anyway,
Wallabies.
yeah.
What the heck is a wallaby?
Wallaby's like a tiny kangaroo, man.
Oh, I did not
You ever
know
watch
that.
Rocko's Modern Life growing up? The cartoon?
Nope.
I love that
You need to
show.
get Paramount Plus. And you need to watch Rocko's Modern Life. That show still holds up. People who were born in the mid '80s, you know what I'm talking about.
It was great.
Shout out to the mid '80s. The other thing I have a couple of things I want to talk about today on the podcast, and one of which is poison ivy. I've had some incredible stories with poison ivy,
Yeah,
and I currently, you can't tell on camera, but I have poison ivy right now.
we'll zoom in the edit.
Yeah, zoom in.
There it is.
I have it on my forehead.
From here, it looks like you got in a fight.
I've
They
had.
look like scars that you got in like a bar fight.
I love that you say that because I've had like 4 or 5 people ask me if I've gotten like in a fight or someone scratched me or that I have a cat or something.
Yeah, somebody was talking trash at the bar the other night, so I broke a bottle over the bar.
Yeah.
We went at it.
It said something about my boy John Wesley, and I said we gonna square up,
Yeah,
John
square down.
Calvin.
Yeah.
And got him.
Calvin and Wesley.
It does kind of look like scars, but knowing you, I would never think that you got in a fight.
That hurts. That hurts a little bit, but also it's because you know that I'm peaceful, and that I'm a loving person,
Yeah.
right?
It's I know you talk trash if there were people in between you when a fight erupted. You
That's
would
true.
somehow you'd be the guy that like gets out somehow, and then when everyone's coming out all bloody, you'd be like, "Oh, what happened? Like I was right there," and they'd be like, "No, you didn't. You ran.
He hits
You
the
ran."
ground and crawls
Yeah.
out.
He'd be like, "Did y'all see it? I hit him one good time." And you're like, "No, you didn't."
Weren't in
Dude,
there.
we could podcast about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Man, it's like weird. I didn't get a black eye or a bloody nose or anything. That's
Yeah.
weird.
So how'd you get what you got on your head right now?
Well, shout out to the Payne family. Ryan texted me, who's been on the podcast before, and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" This past Saturday. I was like, "I don't know, I'm just at the house." He goes, "Cool, I'm bringing my family. We're gonna fix your backyard." And I was like,
Wait.
that's so
So
nice.
you didn't do it yourself.
He didn't engage.
didn't-
He didn't engage the situation. It was
"No."
engaged upon.
Well,
him.
I talked to Ryan about asking if they could help at some point. Like, I need help. You know, it'd be quicker with many hands. But I didn't plan that it was gonna be that Saturday, and so I was like, "Oh, okay."
What did you planned on doing that day?
It's a great question. I think at one point I was
Laying on
gonna.
your couch watching Tulsa King.
No, maybe Tulsa King. Shout out! It's a recent show I've been watching. It's only like
wait.
10 episodes.
So you have Paramount Plus then?
Yeah,
Okay, you need to watch Rocko's Modern Life on Paramount.
Rocko's Modern Life. Got it.
Yeah.
So we did that, and
I'll remind you
it
of it.
didn't pop up until like Monday. I had
Yeah.
poison ivy because I guess it was just took a second for it to
It depends
react.
on the person. Sometimes it can show up pretty quick, but sometimes it does take some time.
Well, it was funny because Ryan texted me on Sunday like, "Oh, dude, I think I got some poison." I was like, "Sucker, I don't have
Oh,
any."
he got
yeah,
it?
he got it. I was like, "You loser, I don't have any poison ivy."
There he is talking trash.
Talking trash. And then like the next day, it was on my forehead. I was like, piss. Like it's the most obvious place. And then people kind of like do like this thing where it's like, you know how girls like eyes here? It's like the guy was like, "Hey, eyes are here." Because they like look at you and then they like look up at your forehead. I'm like, yeah, I noticed it. I got poison ivy. like, so I had to kept bringing it up to every
If you hadn't
conversation.
said anything when I got here, I would not have noticed.
Oh, really?
That's how out of touch I was.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been
now I
putting
can
some
notice
lotion
it.
on it and
Yeah,
stuff, so
yeah.
maybe that's helped. And so, but I want to throw this out there. I had poison ivy once, and Jake probably remembers my ear. It was on my ear, and it was
It looked really bad.
It was gross.
It was crusty, and it's swollen like a piece
Yeah.
of cauliflower.
and that was like within 24 hours. Like it was like super bad, and like
where-
my hair got crusted into my ear. Poison ivy. I know it sounds super gross. People are like, "Why am I listening
Where
to this
did
podcast?"
Where did you acquire that? Were we doing something youth related, or did you just happen to get it randomly?
I think it was just randomly outside. I don't think it was youth related,
we
but
were like at a camp or something.
this is where the life changing thing happened.
Life changing.
this happened in March of 2018, maybe.
Okay.
And when I went, that's the story that I tell, is I went to the little clinic in Kroger Dawson, where I went today, actually. And I weighed on the scale, and it popped up 303, and the nurse or whatever had a visible, like, whoop, like,
Are you kidding?
I'm not even kidding. I was like, oof. And I was like,
Jeez.
and I kind of went like,
You need to have a better poker face. For
yeah, I was like,
nurse.
you know me, been working out. And she was like, yeah, okay. Like, I didn't believe it at all. And,
The unfortunate thing about that, too, if you go to the same doctor's office, or in your case, the Kroger Minute Clinic, is they've seen your progression of weight up. Like, if you go there and they have a chart for you or something.
Well, this is my first time.
This
9 months.
This was the ear, right?
Yeah, this was
9 months
yeah,
ago,
this was
you
the
were,
year.
You
This
were
was years ago.
290.
Yeah.
Now you're 303.
Yeah, and I just went for
you're going in the wrong direction.
I went for my ear that had poison ivy. Like, I know what it is. Just
They
give
have
me the
to weigh
medicine
you every time.
Yeah, and like take your temperature or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was when I started getting on keto, because I had a little moment
yeah.
of like, all right, this is kind of embarrassing.
Still riding that keto train?
So no, but I've gotten back to a normal weight.
I've heard
level.
it's not healthy. I heard it's really not great for your kidneys.
Well, it depends on what article you read. It goes both ways. You know what's also not healthy?
Same about politics.
Oh.
It depends on what article you read, how good the country is going.
I mean, because I've read a couple of different things about it, and I think it's kind of like, I don't know, at the end of the day, maybe it's not best for your kidney, but I also know morbidly obese is also not good for your heart
true.
and everything else.
That's true.
So, I mean, I lost 75 pounds, and we're about to do it with one of our friends. He and I and Chris is going to join us. We're doing a weight loss challenge together.
Okay.
And I'm pretty excited about it because it kind of gets me to live life.
I think it's got to be a great Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And but sustainability
for a life change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then even coming off of it, I think you got to be real careful, because if not, like if you go
Then
back
you're
to
gonna blow it-
normal,
then you're gonna
it's
blow it
just going to
back
go
up.
right back.
So like
Yeah.
I think that's what happens with a lot of people with dieting.
For me, it was like, I did keto for a long time, and then when I kind of was like, I would ease off of it, like eat some things that were not, obviously not keto, but I never went back to, well, I say never. It took a long time for me to get back to eating like sweets.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big sweet guy after keto. I was like, man, I don't really need chocolate or peanut butter or whatever.
So you had a blizzard again. You were like,
And I was like,
you
ugh.
gotta get back.
Wait,
Wait, get back on these sweets.
Do blizzards count?
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I had blizzards when I was on keto. I thought I thought it was like a
Another
separate
one.
category. So, but do y'all have any like crazy poison ivy stories though?
I've got one that I can remember. I know I had it as a kid a few times, which is how I knew that. We were talking before this how a treatment for poison ivy was oatmeal baths. I don't know if people remember that. Ben didn't know what that was.
I did not know.
They've got medicated like oatmeal mix that you can put into a bath, and it's supposed to help dry it out. But there was one time where I was doing some weed eating in shorts, and it just like it sprayed. I didn't know that I was hitting that. I
Yeah.
was just like, there was some overgrowth behind my house when I was living with my parents growing up, and it sprayed all over my legs. And I remember one night just kind of like waking up in the middle of the night and be like, man, my legs are so itchy. And I just started like digging my heels in.
Yes.
'Cause I was like half asleep. And then I woke up the next morning and they were pussy and bloody. And, yeah, it was wild. And at first I don't know why I thought this, but I was like, I think there's fleas in the house. I thought that I had fleas and they were biting my legs.
The fleas that caused my legs to pus
Yeah,
up.
and so eventually we went to the doctor and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's poison ivy." So I got a steroid shot and then had to put chamomile lotion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pink stuff. Mm-hmm. Doing that.
Calamine.
Calamine. Chamomile. That's a tea.
Yeah.
Chamomile's a tea.
Chamomile all
Calamine
over. It was
lotion.
great.
That's right.
Oatmeal.
To
To
dry it up, and I mean, it was just poison ivy is just so detrimental to your skin's health in that you can scar your skin for life by trying to scratch it, and you know. And so I think it probably like took off some of the hair on my legs. I'm not a super hairy guy anyway, like all over like some people are. So it's just like the hair on my legs is some patches of it are gone because I think I hit it too hard.
Sometimes I don't scratch. I will get like a paper towel and I'll just push, like to kind of itch it, and scratch it.
I would sometimes
I was like
smacking my legs so
I
I
was
wouldn't scratch it
because I have one right now. It's my back.
It.
I was like,
it'll spread it if you
Yeah.
scratch it, and you don't want to
Yeah.
do that either. My dad used to tell me a story. He was a scout, and he used to tell me a story about one time he was scout camping, and they're out camping. They don't have toilet paper, and he wiped himself with what he found out was either poison ivy or sumac or oak or whatever.
Yeah.
oh man,
It was the worst thing ever. Because not only does it itch, but then you're having to let doctors look at it and letting your mom like put lotion on you.
Yeah.
So talk about having to get some sort of trauma therapy.
So today when I went to go to the doctor,
yeah.
she was like, "All right, I need you to take off your jacket," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And for some reason, I thought normally I was like, so I took off my jacket and I start lifting up my shirt to show her where the poison ivy was. She was like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Showing you my poison ivy." She was like, "No, I just want to hear you breathe." And I turns on her like is it a stethoscope?
Stethoscope.
Stethoscope.
Nope. Stethoscope.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing. And so like she puts it on, but it was just like this moment of like, oh. Like I was literally like, taking off my shirt for her to look, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like,
getting your vitals.
"Oh, okay." And she's like, "I know you have poison ivy. I don't need to see it."
Like, sorry,
I was like,
I thought we were vibing. I don't know.
"You're a doctor, and I'm a doctor." Like I thought we were vibing.
That's true.
So, but no, she was like, "No." I was like, "Oh, okay." Deep breath, and that was it. I was like, "Okay." And
Did they tell you have asthma when you breathe in like that?
Dude, my life's changed. I don't even know if I have asthma anymore.
How'd
Well,
you get rid of
I
that?
definitely have asthma.
Oh.
But I went to the doctor. I have an actual doctor that I see regularly.
Oh, okay.
But since the poison ivy thing was like I needed it now, I went to the urgent
You don't
care.
have time to make an appointment.
And wait 3 weeks or whatever. And so she gave me this thing where you take it in the morning and it's like a long lasting inhaler thing versus the albuterol is like if you are in the asthma attack,
It's
supposed
more
to
reactionary.
Yeah, it's reactionary. This is proactive.
Got it.
And it's a different type of chemical. Bros, it has changed my life.
Yeah.
I'm working out with Chris Davis in the mornings,
And not having to.
and I don't have to take my inhaler at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we're walking 4 miles and like up hills on most of the stuff, and it's like, sweet, cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still will like be tired. And
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not like gasping for air.
Yeah.
I can sleep through an entire night without having to take my inhaler. And I was up
How
to
long have you been having to wake up in the middle of the night to do your inhaler?
years.
Your whole life?
Years,
almost.
yeah, my whole life.
Dude.
I mean, some nights are better than others,
Significant
obviously.
life change.
Significant life change.
Yeah.
And it's been like I guess it's only been about 2 months since January. So
Right on.
it's been incredible. I feel like a new man.
As you should.
2023, so many things are happening.
Yeah.
Already changed. It's
Already
good.
changed.
You
Yeah,
can go to
the
2024
backyard,
now.
the backyard's done.
Poison ivy.
We're on YouTube now. Oh, I didn't even say that. Hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. You are watching this on video, or if you're listening on Apple and Spotify. We still love you and appreciate you for supporting us.
Yeah, you're just trying to get you got a new platform.
New platform. We're also on Facebook now and on Instagram. So we're just trying to get the herd bigger and better.
Yep.
Which brings to my next topic. I had this.
But you didn't talk about.
Oh, did you have poison ivy?
You didn't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any crazy stories?
Like, so poison ivy is typically a thing that I can like walk through and not get it. Like, I'm not like.
Have you tried? Like you
Yeah.
lick it and stuff?
No, not lick it.
I'm gonna
but,
test.
like,
I'm gonna test
I
this.
can
Test,
like
yeah.
walk through. If
Hey, go to my backyard for like 10
Make
minutes.
some tea from this.
if like the plant gets broken, the oil's there usually, but it usually doesn't affect me too much,
It's because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
so cool.
which very blessed by that. But there was one day I was doing this a couple years ago. I was doing yard work, and there was a vine without any leaves on it behind my.
That's how you got yours been.
Oh, yeah,
Vines
yeah.
Without leaves. You
Yeah, there was
didn't
no
know.
leaves outside.
Well, and it was right behind my AC unit, so it just looked like a little one. And I guess I didn't have gloves. I was trying to weed eat, and it was like a little vine.
So you just
and so
grabbed
I
it.
just went to grab to get it out, and I guess I did that. That had to have been what it was from. Go to Orlando the next day I had class down there. About 3 days later, I'm starting to itch a little bit. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Because you probably like touched
So
Everything.
So I had,
yeah.
I guess after that, I had used the bathroom. So like I started itching all down there, all the waistband, all down there.
Dude, my
No.
waistband is the worst.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Because your pants
It's
are rubbing on all the
constant.
time.
Yeah, like
And
right
a-
now I'm in pain.
in a couple little places on like my arms and leg, but the worst was down there and on my waistband.
Oh my gosh.
And driving back from Orlando, I was moving. I was like the most miserable I'd been.
It's terrible.
I get to the south side of Atlanta on 75, and it's stop, like not even stop and go, just dead stop traffic for like 2
You're just
hours.
like, just kill me. Just take my life.
Yes,
that's it.
God,
that's the
I'm
only
ready.
Take me
time-
home.
the only time I went to get a steroid shot and get stuff, because usually like I'll get it, doesn't.
Yeah,
mess
you
with me
just
that
wait it
much.
out.
Like about a year and a half ago ish, I went to go do yard work at my grandmother's house in Birmingham before she had passed, and I was there with like two of my cousins, and they are like, if they smell it nearby, they get it. Like they're just so allergic to poison ivy.
Wow.
And we were cutting some stuff. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt.
No big
You know,
deal.
I'm like touching everything they're touching, doing everything. They were wearing long sleeve, all that. The next
Gloves
day,
with duct tape on the
yes,
wrist.
yes. The next day, they send me pictures like all over their arms, like pussy, like all that.
Jeez.
Mine just gets like a little red
Can I-
dot rash.
can I
Like,
that?
it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't get like super pussy or anything like super nasty. But theirs was like, it's
Rough.
disgusting. So
Yeah.
I like usually poison ivy doesn't get me that
that-
much.
but
If
that one.
that time that was enough. I was
Man,
I was miserable.
I can't imagine.
I've had a couple where like when you're like driving and it's like at the ankle, and so you like
Yeah,
you'll
you
if it's the left foot and you drive with your right, you're like gas it a little bit, scratch, back on the gas,
Yeah.
scratch, back on the
Dude,
like,
for real.
God, poison ivy is the worst.
It is.
Bro.
It's terrible. Terrible, terrible.
I was thinking about the season of Lent coming up, and I'm not trying to go super spiritual in this episode, but if you don't know what Lent is, Nathan, you're the MDiv guy. What's Lent?
Well, if you wear a shirt a lot of times, like in your hair, like me, you get a lot of it in your belly button.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a new shirt.
And
I don't
I
have any.
pe-
Our friend Avery, shout out to Avery, always has Lent in his belly button.
oh, I always do too. It's
Do you?
just a
My
problem.
wife tells me I have the deepest belly button in the world. She'll like stick her finger in it. It's like knuckle and a half.
Oh gosh,
That's probably because
it's
there's a
the
lot of
Starlight
belly
Kid.
there
Jake,
too.
you
but
tell us what Lint is, because you got the specialty.
the real lint or belly button lint?
Either one, you decide.
Either one.
I did not know we were going the belly button route, but that's
Well, in
hilarious.
the Christian faith, it's the 40 days before Easter
Boom.
that we usually you spend that time in a fast of some sort. It can be from food. It can be from some sort of activity or hobby that you're really into. I wouldn't say hobby, but some sort of habit that you've developed. Hobbies normally aren't bad things, but sometimes you can develop bad habits. And you abstain from those for 40 days. And so it's usually from Ash Wednesday to Easter
That is correct.
Sunday. So that's what Lent is. Belly button Lent, different story.
Yeah, and it's like recognition of
Jesus'
God.
40 days in the desert.
Yeah, and so you can also add things too if you don't want to
That's
take
true.
away
You
things.
can start doing something that would get you closer to God, a better relationship
Yeah,
with God.
and that-
So
and
I'm going to read my Bible every day, or I'm going to be more in prayer. Like when I'm supposed to be eating, I'll pray, which is normally what you do when you fast anyway.
Yeah,
But something along those lines.
and I've always been a strong supporter of Lent for my own personal like spiritual journey, just because for me I have to have something in my head psychologically that goes, this is a start date. Like, start this date and you can do it. There's no excuses. This is the day it starts.
You got to kind of give yourself
And it has an end date.
a timeline.
Yeah, a timeline.
I got it.
Because if you go, I'm just going to live healthier. It's like, okay, well, I can start tomorrow.
Yeah, but you haven't made any goals in
Yeah.
that sense. Like you've made a very broad goal. You need to get a little more specific.
That's right.
I get that.
And I went vegetarian one year for Lent and like gave up meat, and that was pretty cool. And during that time of struggle, or temptation is the time that you're supposed to focus on your relationship with the Lord.
Right.
And I ended up doing it for a whole year. Like afterwards, I was like, I still like the vegetarian, kind of like doing that. So I was a vegetarian for a year. 1 year I did veto, and that was hell on earth. That's vegetarian keto.
Yeah, I remember you were super cranky.
Yeah, I was very cranky.
You were hard to deal with.
And I lost a lot of weight too. It was scary.
But he looked sick.
Yeah, I did. I was very sickly though.
You were pale and hollow.
Yeah, it was rough. And so then that was too extreme.
Yeah.
And then like the next year I was like, screw Lent, I'm not gonna do anything. Yeah, like I did Lent enough for like 3 years. I don't know if that's like I don't want to get in trouble for that.
I don't know, man.
Lent's incredible because I'm about to do something again this year, and I thought we could all talk about something and maybe encourage our audience who's listening if they or want to do something. I this year want to do exercise with Chris Davis, which I'm already doing, but more so because I'm really into this, trying to do a healthy lifestyle.
Make yourself healthy.
And one of the things we're going to do is, I know you just said it's not healthy, but me and a friend are going to try to do keto for 40 days and really try to do some life altering, some stuff with that, but also use that time of like the temptation, the struggle. I mean, food and your stomach has a lot of control over you.
Yeah,
and like,
I get it.
And you think you're hungry, but you're really not. You can control more so than you can go 3 weeks without having a single thing of food. But we get cranky if we don't have 3 hours without food.
That's because it's how we've trained ourselves.
We train ourselves.
We have gone. I heard somebody say this one time, and I was like, "This is exactly right." We have gone from eating to live to living to eat. Like it's like, what do we do all the time? We're thinking about, hey, where do you want to go eat after this, or where are we going to go eat after church on Sunday, or when we're going on vacation? Hey, what are the restaurants that we're going to go to? We have turned eating into an event,
a luxury,
instead of just being like, I need to make sure I have enough to nourish myself and keep myself going, instead of just being like, I'm about like when I was in college and we would go to Buffalo's Cafe on Wednesdays because it was bash night and we'd eat 60 wings a piece. Like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's called gluttony, and that's not something you probably want to live into, but we do that.
I would say impressive. Maybe a little gluttony, but impressive.
Dude,
as well.
Can you imagine? It would be like, it was me and like Scott Sinkowitz and like a few other guys from Truett. Like there'd be like 6 of us, and we go eat 60 plus wings each.
It's like we're closed. We're closed. Don't come in.
Were they the thin little ones, or were they?
I mean,
like
you get drums
thick?
and flats, and the Buffaloes had pretty good one. Buffalo's Cafe.
Like,
Buffalo Wild Wings is trash. Buffalo's Cafe in Oakwood they were really good.
Compared to Roosters, are they the same size?
I'd say they're probably about the same size as Roosters.
Okay, I could.
I still couldn't do 60.
I could do. I could do like 20.
Yeah.
I was living a different life back then.
What sauce?
I'm a medium hot guy. I don't go too crazy.
Blue cheese or ranch?
If it's at Roosters, it's blue cheese. Anywhere else is ranch. Roosters makes their own blue cheese, and it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It is really
amazing.
Good. Shout out to Roosters.
Shout out to Roosters.
Huge sponsor of the podcast.
I was going to say possibly a sponsor at some point.
Just some wings. I don't know.
You should get in there. You are called the Great White Buffalo Podcast. They sell buffalo wings. Ben, you really need to get in there.
Yo, hey, Roosters.
Don't point at them there because they might not be watching. You need to go to the restaurant.
Roosters, this is my personal pitch right now. Listen, you have Jake, legendary wing eater.
Hey, here's the pitch. We film an episode every Friday
at Roosters.
We do eat Roosters a lot.
While we eat wings for free, plugging in.
Can you imagine?
Cafe.
Like, if that really happens,
I would totally do that.
And they make a sauce named after the Great White Buffalo sauce. That's what they call it.
The GWB sauce?
It'd be like an Alabama white sauce for the wings.
Ooh,
Dude, that'd be unbelievable.
Oh my Lanta.
Guys, we're having a marketing meeting right now.
Listen, we need to make
if
this.
The president / CEO / owner of Roosters, whatever you want to call yourself, the supreme leader of Roosters, reach out to us.
I went to high school. I don't think it's still this way, but I went to high school with a girl and was really good friends with a girl whose parents owned Roosters in Cumming.
Wait, is it not the same one in Dahlonega? Is there more than 2?
Cumming was the original.
Yeah, Cumming was the original.
And they opened one in Dahlonega. I guess it's owned by the same people. I don't know. I haven't talked to this girl in years, though. but I can see if I can make a connection. I don't know if they're still on that place or not.
Well, I imagine they do.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah,
I don't know if they can pick it on the mic. I was trying to clear my nose. Can't breath.
It felt like it was,
was-
a part of whatever comment you were
But
making.
no. No. I can't breathe. And now that we're on YouTube, it's like when we were all like we were just Apple and
could lean
Spotify.
off
I can
mic.
lean off and like blow my nose and no one know. But now we're on YouTube. It's like
There are
like,
times-
literally last week. If you notice, there's a time where I kind of went over here. I was like. Kind of like blew my nose off, like see if anybody notices.
That's when you need. We'll talk about this later, I guess. That's when we talk about your editing strategy for
Yeah,
some of
my
your
edit-
episodes.
No, bro. I think it's all genuine content, right?
Yeah. I mean, hey, man, you're just being.
Golly, what
but
were we
Lent,
talking about?
Lent. We're
Lent,
talking-
oh, yeah.
I don't know how we got to roosters.
Exercise, roosters.
There you go.
Is social media. I struggle with this a lot, and that's another little topic that I had that I wanted to talk about. But I struggle with validation from social media. I get my feelings hurt.
Yeah.
I'll say it sometimes, and it's stupid, and I know it's stupid. It's like it's just a stupid app. I have a social media director. Shout out to Gracie. So I'll give her all my login info so she can post things about the podcast or whatever. So that will still go. So if you're like, oh no, what about podcasting? That'll still happen. But I don't have it on
You're
my
not gonna-
phone.
Like if it's for a business or something, I can understand. Okay, I need to be on that to make sure that the business is doing what it's supposed to do. You're talking about personal things that you post or seeking some sort of like looking at the comments or the likes. How many likes did I get on this thing?
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. You're talking about dropping that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and I should. I can help. I can help you be your. What do you call a thing where it's like you're somebody's.
Accountability.
Accountability partner for that. Thank you. God, sound like a stroke.
Well, Nathan hasn't done social media in a long time, right?
Dude, I am I have Facebook. I am the worst social media person. I never post anything.
Yeah.
I never comment on anything. I listen to watch videos on it, podcasts and stuff like that. I don't do anything.
That's what my Instagram was for when I had it. I got off of it I think 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but it was like you could take one little slide and you'd be at the bottom of my Instagram because
That was
like
me.
I never posted anything.
I was
never
like
did
strictly
any
a
of that.
consumer.
It,
I did not.
It
feed
was
into
literally
it.
there for me to stalk people and just check in on people. That's
Yep.
it. Like that's
all
it
I
was.
do with it. I don't.
Well,
I don't engage in any of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
my biggest thing with Instagram is if you look, I don't know if you have Instagram, but this is the Buffalo page. Let me get back to mine. So you had this thing called a Discover, which is like this little magnifying glass, and it has like all these like nerdy updates of like, oh, these
That's
movies
because
are
it's
coming
like,
out.
it's stuff you've liked.
Yeah,
Or pages you like.
and they know like, oh, here's Star Wars content, you know, whatever, and it's like I want to see this, but
Is that
nothing
Is
else.
that Pokemon?
Yeah, I got this Pokemon there, there's Power Rangers, Star
All
Wars.
times
This
playing
is a-
Pokemon
the-
Go.
Are you sure this is yours?
Oh yeah, bro. Well, here's the other thing
I
too.
think
Is,
it's the middle schoolers. It's the middle schoolers Instagram page.
well, it does have a
you
lot
look
of
at houses.
yeah.
You can buy a house.
no,
if you can
not these
I don't know if you can
houses
afford that one.
or that one.
thing.
It's got some mansions on there too.
Yeah.
But
I
that,
don't get on Instagram a lot anymore.
but that's kind of the one thing I'm going to miss is more of the discovery of looking at things that I'm interested in versus the other
Yeah,
stuff.
there's probably other ways you could do that. I don't know. We'll figure it out for you.
Yeah.
If you're looking, so like at some point, Instagram became me looking at. My wife and I went to Ireland a few years ago, and I fell in love with that place. And so now I follow like several Ireland pages and Instagram pages and stuff, and they're just posting like scenes of that country, just like of nature
Yeah.
and of beautiful mountains and rivers and waterfalls, and that's the kind of stuff I'm into. I like
Oh,
to see
yeah.
that kind of stuff. 'Cause, I mean, God,
Oh, yeah, it's peaceful.
Iceland too. Iceland. If you should go look up like pictures of just what they got going on in Iceland. That place is beautiful.
Isn't that when they did The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Oh no, I never saw that movie.
Oh, so good, dude.
Is it really?
Yeah, with
Okay.
Ben Stiller. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
But, that's what I use it for now. I'm just like the worst at like keeping in touch with people
Yeah.
and commenting on people's stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that with taking off social media and doing the exercise, I'm just trying to get healthier mentally and physically.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that will affect
seek
spiritual.
affirmation from the person who's actually already affirmed you.
Ooh,
It's Christ, right?
Absolutely.
You've been affirmed. You don't need anybody else's validation. The only person that you need acceptance from has already accepted you.
It's true.
So don't even worry about it, man.
Well, and that's where, like, the other day, I was hosting this trivia night, and
Yeah. By the way,
I never sent you the pictures.
no, you didn't send me any questions.
I'll send you. We'll do some right now.
Okay.
On the podcast. That's why I didn't send it to you.
Yes.
I want it to be live.
Because I want to know.
I want to
if anybody
test you.
got everything.
No one got 100. There was a
'Cause I wanna
question
get 100 and then show
that
those Wesley
required
kids what's
24
up.
answers. 24 answers, and then one team got 23 to 24
24 answers for one question.
for one question.
Was that the one where you're talking about where it's like you give the student and you say what house they're in?
Yeah, but I did it differently.
Okay.
But
all
sorry,
right.
it's the same.
We'll talk about it later.
But this is the thing I realized. And it was kind of a joke, but I said, hey, like, for bonus points for trivia, if you follow my Instagram, I'll give you bonus points, whatever. And I refreshed it, and I got 91. I had like 70-something. I got it to 91. I was like, oh, my God.
Was this for GWB or your personal one?
GWB.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, dude, like, why not? Shameless plug.
Was this GWB Presents Harry Potter Trivia at Wesley?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's
For
good.
sure. Well, I didn't say what it
He
was,
even
but it was
had on
Wesley.
on his little slideshow. He had the-
Heck yeah, bro. Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And by the end of the night, I wasn't going to say it was Wesley, but it was Wesley. By the end of the night, I went down to like 79. So it's like 12 people unsubscribed by the end of the night, which means at some point they went, yeah, dude, look, because we went and checked every phone like to get the points. They went, yeah, dude, turn around.
What?
Screw you, buddy. Unsubscribe.
What does that
like,
mean for
got
those?
'em.
Like, what's the deal of like
That's-
having to subscribe?
Yeah, that like it didn't make sense to me, and it hurt my feelings. But then I know Nathan's laughing.
It's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny. It was kind of. I was like,
It wasn't funny then.
I was like,
Actually,
no, he was laughing then. He's like, dude, it sucks. But here's the lesson that I learned from it though.
Okay.
So one, who cares? Whatever they want to subscribe.
cares?
But one of the things that I felt like I was like, it did hurt a little bit because I was like, in my mind, I'm just going. They're like, I take it as a big like screw you, buddy.
Yeah,
like
I
unsubscribe.
think you might be thinking about it too much.
It was just right.
Yeah.
But humans tend to overthink things.
Yeah.
But what I realized though was shout out to Gracie Dixon. She is making clips. She just texted me right now, so shout out to her. Lily just texted me, and she's making clips to post on my YouTube page that I can post like shorts, like under a minute. So the ones that you've seen,
Like, so are you gonna have like a GWB clip channel?
Eventually.
Okay.
But she's doing like
These are just the shorts.
yeah,
like
the shorts
reels.
under a
What-
minute.
what
Yeah,
would they call-
reels.
They would call their
So
reels.
she does my TikTok and she does the YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
I had Jackson Payne. Shout out to Jackson, who's creating. He approached me and said, "I want to create thumbnails for you, and I want to help
an
you
intro video,
with
right?
the intro video." Yeah. So he's working on an intro video, working on that. Like he approached me. Sydney Smith was like, "I want to create some artwork for GWB. I want to help you do that." Blah blah blah. And I've had people ask to be on the podcast, like, "Hey, I want to be on it." And so then I start realizing, man, I have a community.
Yeah, you don't like the social media community stuff. That's not. You don't need it, man.
Yeah. It's like if people want to listen and subscribe, they will.
Yeah.
But don't seek validation from that number of subscribers.
I think
because they'll
anybody-
never be
yeah.
high enough.
I think anybody who has a platform or a big social media presence would tell you, don't read the comments, and if you do, don't put a lot of stock into those things, because those are people who, one, will never feed into you in any sort of meaningful way.
Oh yeah.
And like they're not a part of your like life, you know.
I'm ready to get the first like this podcast sucks.
Hey man,
From user X5732. Like doesn't
here's
have-
where I'm at with that. It's like if you want to think that,
Nathan, is that you?
he's gonna backtrack your IP address and find you. But like, oh crap, I forgot what I was gonna say. Well, I've lost
You're
it.
talking about validation, like not seeking it through,
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. It's gone.
It's okay.
You maybe lose it. It'll come back randomly.
I apologize.
But no, you're good. But like, yeah, you don't even worry about it, man. You got people that care about you that want to help you out, and like, you know, I love being up here talking with you guys and just hanging out. This is a lot of fun for me. Oh, I think I was gonna say, like, I'm okay with the opinion that you think the podcast sucks. Like, if somebody says that, I'm okay with that opinion. You think what you want, don't watch it. It is that simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I don't get why people. That's why I get what people like to go on and like troll things and like constantly be like, this every episode. This sucks. This sucks. This sucks. Why are you watching it? Just like, I mean, I get some people are just like that. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
But like, that's cool for you to have that opinion, man. And if you hate it, whatever. We're gonna keep doing it because we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Absolutely.
What about you, Nathan? Do you enjoy doing this podcast? Or
I do. I do enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun.
Are you subscribed?
No.
Facts. I knew it 100%.
Dude.
This was an intervention because you don't subscribe. You hate me, and everybody knows it.
Look at the
Ned.
look at the wavelengths on the audio recording.
Ned.
Here's my
Do you know his initials? Spell it Ned. Whenever you
what's
see
your middle name?
Nathan Edgar
Really? Is that a
Edgar
family
Allan
name?
Poe over here,
I think
I would
and it's
hope
not
so.
Nathaniel. His first name's not Nathaniel.
My middle name's Nathaniel.
Well, his first name's not. And I call him Nathaniel
You
sometimes.
stay away from my middle name.
And there's been a couple Wesley kids who are like, his name's not Nathaniel. His name is like I've known him a lot longer
guys-
than
you
you.
guys-
I know it's not.
You guys are missing the point.
Yeah. Ned. What are you gonna say, Ned?
Well, you probably
I'm just saying I don't subscribe.
Yet.
Not because I don't want to, but I don't subscribe to
to anything. You're
don't
a
subscribe to
subscriber.
Jesus Christ?
You're a subscriber of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
That's it.
the one thing.
Hey, you know
That's
what?
it. Yeah,
God,
man.
he got me on the JC card.
That's
Man.
right.
He always does that too.
I'm subscribed.
He'll be
I'm
like-
subscribed to you on Apple Podcasts. I'm subscribed to you on Spotify. I'm subscribed on YouTube. I joined your face group.
It's like the both.
It's just how I show my support. Like I like to come up here and do these, and you call me about audio stuff or video stuff, and I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. I'll help you out.
Listen, can't see that. It's not on camera.
He gives you emotional support
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
and spiritual support.
Sometimes. Yeah. Thanks, Ned. Super appreciate it. No, I just love like the
Lord.
extremes of
Yeah,
like.
that's so funny.
Oh God, it is funny.
Yeah.
It's like I don't subscribe to anything but Jesus Christ. Yeah, but like you can bring your wallet to lunch and like pay for your meals. Like I don't subscribe to paying for lunch. I subscribe to Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
What were y'all thinking? Have y'all even thought about Lent yet? Be honest. It's not to the 22nd. Pizza
Yeah.
Dubs. And
Last
it's
year
20 days.
I did no sugar.
Ooh, how was that? Was that rough?
It was actually at the first couple of days were rough, but I made it through the entire thing. It's the longest I've ever done anything like that, and I think and I started to feel really good toward the end of it, and then like Easter was over. I was like, let's go get a blizzard. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, I can do it now, but I think I want to do it again.
Shout out to our sponsor.
But
Blizzard.
I want to try to come up with a sustainable path after to be able to sometimes I can enjoy things, but I don't want to just be like, I just want a Coke or I want to eat like a bag of Skittles or whatever. I just want to like, if I don't need it, I don't want to ingest it. You know what I mean?
It's almost like
I get that.
not just with a food thing, but with a lot of things. If I don't need it, I don't want to ingest it.
That's like shows we watch. We were just talking about Tulsa King. It's a great show, but like there's a lot of violence and language and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I go back and forth with that because I feel like there are certain people who are affected by that kind of stuff more. I feel like I'm really firmly rooted in reality, and I understand that that's just a TV show and that's not real. And I try not to let that kind of stuff affect me.
I go, Rocky Balboa is playing a New York mobster. Got it.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
It's just
Rambo is playing Rocky.
So, like,
who's playing?
If I see violent things, it doesn't make me want to go out and be violent at somebody. That's just not how my mind works.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to be self-aware enough
Nathan's
to know
not the
if-
same way. He plays Call of Duty, and he goes around Dahlonega.
Did you watch that Santa movie, Violent Night, with David Harbour, and then dye your beard white and go
No.
beat up people? At
I also
Walmart?
saw that movie with my
I
father.
did not.
Very good.
Very good.
It's
very good.
actually
It's actually really good.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun movie. He thought he was like, he's like, Violent Night, I don't want to go see a horror movie. I was like, I don't think it's a
not
horror
a
movie.
horror movie.
And he watched the trailer, and he immediately texted back and was like, I'll pick you up at 1. I was like, all right, nice. What about you, Naders? You've been kind of
I
quiet.
haven't really thought much. Lent usually comes and goes for me. I just kind of either forget about it or I just. I mean, I know Lent's happening, but I don't ever really usually like
Just don't dive into it very
subscribe to anything.
much. Yeah, he's already subscribed to Jesus.
I
What's he
know
gonna do this
Mount
for?
Bethel used to do something kind of cool with their youth. You'd have to ask Chris about it, but I forgot what they called it. But they for Lent, they would like eat what they want, do whatever. But then it was the rest of the year that they gave something up.
Oh,
So it
reverse
was,
Lent.
yeah. So it was like for the 40 days they like you'd eat meat or whatever it was, but then
Blizzard
they do
every
that,
day.
and they would do it the rest of the year, and a lot
40
of the
blizzards in a row.
a lot of
What?
the youth would do it.
What's healthier?
One guy,
Gaining 10 pounds in 40 days?
Max,
Or losing
gave
10
up.
pounds for 320.
Yeah.
He gave up. He only drank water, and
For 40 days?
No,
For
no,
the year.
The year
Oh,
after
yeah.
Lent.
I thought
After
it was
Lent.
Then he drank
did
a
that.
Coke.
No, he for probably he did that 1 year, and for the next like 2 or 3 years that I knew him, he only drank water. He
Wow.
never had anything else to drink after that. Now that may have changed ever since then, but I'm not sure. But he did that.
It changed his life.
Yes, it changed a lot of things, and a lot of students actually used to do it, which is really cool. I haven't really thought about it much. I probably should think about it.
Well,
but,
there you go.
Yeah, cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't think about a
my
lot.
whole thing. My whole thing with Lent is that typically,
Say it, Nathan. Say it, Ned.
usually my thing with Lent, it becomes about me giving up something more than it is about the whole reason you do it is to grow closer with Christ and be
That's
more aware of Jesus.
Yeah.
And what I normally find is that people are like, yeah, I haven't eaten meat in like 3 weeks and I'm just not going to eat meat. And it's like, that's cool. That's fine. But it's like,
Have you gotten closer to God because
the
of that?
whole point is like, I just want to be with Jesus. It's kind of like the whole idea of like, okay, you fast and all I'm thinking about the whole time is, and yes, a part of that is your hunger and all that, but it's like all you're really thinking about is the food instead of being with Jesus. It's kind of like, I remember my mom used to say, she used to say like people, because we grew up just kind of middle class, if that, like lower middle class, paycheck to paycheck, that type of stuff. And she used to be like, yeah, they may have money, but you know, they don't have happiness or whatever. So I grew up always thinking like, oh, rich people aren't happy because they have so much money. And then I realized, you know what? You can be absolutely poor with no money and still be thinking about money all the time.
That's for sure.
You don't have to have money. And so the whole thing of it is,
It's not just not having the thing.
yes,
It's figuring out the meaning
behind everything.
Right.
And so for me, a lot of Lent, there's a lot of good stuff behind it and a lot of great things to do with it. It's just, I know I'd always, anytime I would do something, it felt like I was just trying to do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yeah, I'm committing this to the Lord, but was I really, or was I just
Yeah.
not trying to do
Yeah.
something?
When you were craving meat, did you stop and pray? And did
Like,
you say,
just-
give me the strength to make it through this?
Well, and even just being
Or-
aware of like just the Lord's presence. So even getting
Yeah.
through something, but then just the whole point of like just being with God
To
on
say-
a deeper
Yeah.
level.
To say something like, I don't need this, I need you. Like you're my portion.
To where it comes to a point of like, okay, whether I eat the meat or not is like if I messed up on a Sunday and I ate the meat, like I'm not, because my mind and my heart is so focused on the Lord that those things I'm not focused on the goal of either eating meat or not eating meat
It's-
or whatever it is.
It's like trying to not sin versus living into Christ, and that stuff just falls
Yeah.
away.
There's a good analogy that what's that one pastor out west, Judah Smith.
Judah Smith in Seattle.
Judah Smith.
Judah.
He wrote a book, and one of the analogies he writes in it is like when you play golf. I think it wasn't Arnold Palmer. I think it was Jack Nicklaus that said, was it Arnold? I can't remember. One of them had said
It was a golfer.
the last thing, like the thing that you should be thinking about in your backswing whenever you're hitting the ball the last thing in your mind shouldn't be don't hit it into the lake or into the woods. It should be thinking about, all right, nice smooth swing, just hit it in the fairway. And sometimes we're so focused on
Not doing
like
the thing.
we're so focused on the sand trap or so focused on the water, so focused on these other things that when we hit it into there, it's like, why are we surprised that we're hitting it there? That's the last thing on
Because we
our
focused
mind.
on it.
Yeah. And so Judah Smith's whole thing is like in golf, you should be focused on hitting it into the fairway and focused on the flag, getting the ball to the flag stick, that sometimes we deviate into the woods or whatever. And that was the same thing. Sometimes we're focused on not sinning so much and focused on that temptation or sin that when we fall into that way, it's like, well, we were so focused on that, then keeping our eyes on God.
You've missed the point.
Yeah.
It's like you should be focusing on Jesus.
And I think a lot of
that stuff will just go away.
Yes,
That's
and
how
I
it's
think
supposed
for a
to go.
lot of people, it does some great stuff. And I think sometimes, like everybody, we all miss the point. But for me, sometimes I think the times I've done a lot of stuff, fasting and all that, not necessarily like for the 40 days of Lent, but I've done it throughout different things. And sometimes I do really well of it. And then sometimes I feel like I'm too focused on the thing than I am God.
I would say like when I did the vegetarian thing way back in the day, and I did it for a whole year afterwards. I think you're probably right. I was more focused on the vegetarian thing than the Lord. It's 2011. I was like still a brand new Christian, so I probably didn't mature enough. But I know when I did the veto, I had a lot of conversations with God. Like I had like, God, I'm physically struggling. I don't know. I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. There's some times where we're just like I gave up social media. Look at me. Like, and then 40 days later, you pop back on. Like, I'm back. It kind of defeats the purpose. But there are, I think the Lord works in really cool ways where like the Lord did the ultimate sacrifice for you, like to live in an active sacrifice of like, I am struggling right now, brings new perspective and a new appreciation for the Lord. I think that could be really cool.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing is life is a struggle at times too. It's not, even though we're in the presence of the Lord, doesn't mean that it's easy or doesn't mean that it's like, it's joyous.
Never said it would be easy.
I mean, the whole point, like even in the struggle, it's great as you're leaning into like, as little as it may seem, is it social media or not eating meat or whatever it is, it's a struggle to give up things that you're hooked on or that you really, really love.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think there's some great stuff there that in the struggle, it does deepen the faith, even when, because, like, you're going to be fixated on it a little bit because it's somewhat of an addiction that you got to break.
It's become ingrained.
Yeah, and so there is a lot of that is very healthy and very good. It's just I haven't really participated in it as much.
Well,
Amen.
I do.
Big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. And if we just want to encourage people, man, if you're thinking about giving something up, giving something or taking something on to focus, what is your focus? What is your intentionality trying to be about? Is it strengthening that relationship with the Lord? Is it saying, I want to grow in different ways and rely on you in different ways than I have in the past? Like, how can I lean on God and recognize? I think it's in Corinthians, it talks about like, I could be wrong, so don't quote me, but I think it's in 2 Corinthians, but it says like in our weaknesses, you become our strength.
That's right.
And so like, and it's okay to identify that we have weaknesses. Like it's okay to say I am weak, and you can be my
Well,
strength.
it's good to give up stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the young rich ruler who came to Jesus and was like, Jesus, what else? What do I need to do to inherit the kingdom of God? And Jesus is like, well, don't commit adultery, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And he says, I follow all that. And he said, what else do I need to do? And he says, well, go sell all your possessions and follow me. And he goes away sad, knowing that like, I just can't give that one thing up.
Yeah.
And Lent is a great opportunity for 40 days to the thing that's like, I really don't want to give this up. Like, I really am afraid to give this up. This is who I am. This is my identity. This is how I do everything. That's
good perspective.
This is my life. And it's a great way to, like, he walked away sad knowing, he basically said, Jesus, you have all of me, you can have everything of me. Or he said, here's all that I'm giving to you, here's what you can have. And Jesus says, I don't want just that, I want your whole life.
Yeah.
And then he goes away knowing I can't give my whole life to you.
Yep.
And so many of us, and this hits even for me, it's like,
yeah, that's hard, dude.
Jesus,
Yeah.
I'll give you these parts of my life.
But not all of it.
But when he asks for all of it, it's like, but all of it? Like, I can't do that. And I think Lent is an opportunity for that 40 days of like, man, yeah, Jesus, I'm your follower. I want to do that. But if there's something he's like, but I want you to give this up. For a lot of us, it's really hard. And we want to say, you can have those areas, but I don't want to give that area.
Because if you're living into something, a habit or something that is like, that's what defines me and that's what makes me who I am, then you're not living into the path that has been laid out for you.
That is, I mean, you may be blessed with things or money or whatever it is, but you get to a point of what Paul says, whether when he was in prison, and he's writing to the Philippians in chapter 4, and he says, I found the secret to life, and that's it, whether I'm hungry or whether I'm full or whether I have or I have not. No matter what's going on, I found the secret of life is to be content. And I think when we live into the abundant life is that we found that whether I'm sick or whether I'm well, whether I have money or whether I'm living on a strict budget, no matter whether I have a girlfriend or boyfriend, whether I have a spouse or I don't, whether I have this community, that I'm content with God. And that abundant life leads you, doesn't mean you don't have goals, doesn't mean that you don't have desires.
Content in life means to be abundant. That's why when you say live in life and life abundantly,
Yeah.
I just didn't know what that abundantly meant.
Abundant life means that anything this world has to offer, it pales in comparison to what God may give you.
I see.
And
I
so
see, I
in
see.
that,
Okay.
you can live into an abundant life that's not, I don't believe in the prosperity gospel. I don't believe that you pray or you give and you're going to get, like you give $20, you're going to get it tenfold back. Yeah. But I do believe
I've done a lot of investment in that, so
I
I'm
do
hoping.
believe
Have you got it
in
back
the,
yet?
No.
I do believe that in the
JK.
giving, what happens is, as you continue to give and tithe and do that, you recognize that it's God who gave me this. Everything I have is God's. And you know what? This isn't going to be Lord over my life. It's one of those things. It's kind of like Lent, when you're giving up something, you're giving a part of what you believe is yours, saying, oh, this is God's first. And so what happens is, as you follow God more, you live into a peace and joy that is abundant. And so the abundant life isn't I don't believe the abundant life just means like physical things, like I'm going to get more money or get this.
Right.
But what you do get is way better than anything the world has.
I felt like I've you've used that since I've known you, and I've known the heart. I just wanted you to kind of clarify it to some people who might be listening and not know what that means.
Yeah,
but live abundantly into that peace that God,
that joy, that
only God
nothing
can
else
provide.
can. I mean, think about it. Like
nothing can satisfy.
Like my social
Nothing in the
media
world.
seems like I get a lot of self-worth or satisfaction from it. But the minute someone unsubscribes or there's too many likes or this comment hits, I'm not trying to hit you. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that have that.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I even had that when I had a lot of it, or when I was on social media. But it's like, okay, well, that may give you this glimmer, but it wasn't meant to fulfill you. It wasn't meant to give you. And so many of us, we think that those things really will, continuing to chase after all that. And what it keeps like bringing back to us is not what we think it's promising. Jesus, however, what he promises, he does fulfill. And that abundant life that he gives, man, so hard we want to hold on to what we know, even though we know it's not working, because we're comfortable. It's what society or culture says is normal. But man, when we can let that go, it's difficult and hard. But man, what we do get in return is true life.
All that other stuff is just going to pass away.
Yeah.
It's just going to fade away. We're going to move on from this planet, and that stuff's not going to be... My treasure's in heaven, man.
Dude,
That's all I want to think about is what my life's going to be like after this one. And the best I can do here is to try to live like Christ and to encourage somebody else to maybe seek after that life too. That's the best I can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, gosh, we're getting into some thick stuff, but we have to wrap it up. So, Naders, Jake, thank you all for being here on the podcast.
Hey man, thanks for having us.
We will forego, because I think we kind of went a little long. My computer shut off, which means we've been for a while. But I just want to throw it out there. We appreciate y'all listening, supporting, subscribing to our YouTube page, on Apple and Spotify for listening. Amazon Music, apparently. Someone texted me and said they listen on Amazon, and I don't shout out Amazon Music. So I got called out for that. So
did you know that
Amazon Music, what's up?
That Amazon Music is exclusive to Garth Brooks?
Like Garth,
You can only listen to Garth Brooks on Amazon Music. You cannot listen to it on Spotify, Apple, anything else.
I did not know that.
I don't know what made me think of that. But yeah, Garth Brooks only on Amazon Music.
Garth Brooks, huge listener. He's actually he was supposed to be on today's episode, but we didn't out of time.
Yeah, sorry, Garth.
Sorry, Garth. Yeah. Hey, man. Next week,
right. He understands.
We love you, Garth, and don't forget, we love you and we appreciate you listening to the Great White Buffalo podcast.
Like the video, subscribe to the video, click the bell to get all notifications on the video.
I gotta say that more often.
Yep.
I don't say that.
And share this video with your friends too. You can comment too. That all helps everything.
And share this clip right here.
What?
You can only see that if you subscribe to the YouTube channel.
What the crap?
Love y'all. See you.